Byte-sized Conversations.
Uh, Hello, paging Miss Kath. Kath, can you hear me? Kath, are you still out there?
Wait, Chuck, is that you? Yes, I can hear you. Chuck, I missed you.
Yes, I'm back for more. I'm always down for more bite-sized conversations. Good to see you again, Kath.
I know. Guys, that is my partner. Well, I'm good to see me, no? I know. Ang sabaw! Anyway, that is my partner, tech enthusiast, Mr. Chuck Araneta, right there.
Thank you so much, Kath. And hello once again to our one community. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Bite-sized Conversations, a podcast for tech enthusiasts who want to know more about tech that helps us stay connected. And also for us to be able to connect with you, make sure that you guys are subscribed on Spotify.
Yes, now that you are back, Chuck. First of all, let's break the ice. Kamusta ka na? How is life treating you?
With everything that's happening around us, it's obviously been a tough situation for everyone. And, like we've been talking before this episode, it's about staying positive and always, just finding, the bright side and the silver lining in life. And, for our family, one of the big milestones that we had in the past few weeks is that my child actually graduated from kindergarten to first grade. So
Oh my!
yeah, it's been really cool to, even if we're here at home, to see him growing, to see him learning. And I really didn't expect it to be this fulfilling, as a dad, trying to navigate things here in the pandemic.
Well, first of all, congratulations on your little one. You must
Thank
be
you.
such a proud father. And yes, it really does seem fulfilling, no? It's so true.
Without question. And you know what? When I think about it, Kath, now that my son is advancing to first grade, me and my wife are always looking, or always online looking for e-learning tools that can help him be more engaged with his lessons. I think
Mm-hmm.
that, the more that we're, the times are changing, the more that, we've had to adapt to this new normal. We always need to be on the lookout for more advanced digital collaboration tools in school, even after the quarantine. So, I'd really like to see more schools be more future thinking and open-minded about these types of digital collaboration tools.
It's really interesting that you mentioned that because ako naman, I'm on the opposite side of the coin. Because diba, since I'm in the field of performing arts education, we've been currently doing it online, diba? No choice.
Mhm.
But I do agree that there is a pertinent need for tools to really encourage the interaction and engagement since it can really aid in the kids' learning experience, no? Well, and especially in my case, our students not only miss performing, but we also have to keep their hands, their minds, and their imagination busy with all of the interactive activities that they can do with their peers virtually. And that's the thing. I can't stress how much connectivity is so important for us to perform authentically.
Of course, I'm sure your students all missing defying gravity, performing it, diba, in front of a live crowd. Those are the things that you miss. We have to do that virtually,
Yes.
diba? And wouldn't it be nice, no, Kath? I mean, we have our e-learning tools needs, and then of course you have your need for tools that can collaborate and keep your kids connected. Wouldn't it be nice if we can have something to fulfill both of those needs? Because apart from e-learning concerns, it makes me wonder what businesses have to look forward to once they come back to their own offices with a more flexible setup.
And super on point yung question mo ha. Because while we do miss person-to-person interactions, and I'm very, very sure that I do, we have to think of everyone's safety first. But let's shake it off. Positive vibes muna
Yes.
tayo. Yeah. And this is exactly where technology comes in, saving the day.
Let's go.
Yeah. So, what a better way to hear about new innovations from a leader in the field? Today, we have a guest from a tech giant. Chuck, this is so exciting. Our guest is from a tech giant, Huawei Technologies. Right? So let us all welcome Mr. Ian Hattel, the Solutions Manager of Huawei Philippines.
Sir, welcome to
Guys,
Bite-sized Conversations.
yes. Thank you
Welcome,
for having
welcome,
me.
Sir Ian.
Thank
Okay,
you.
let's get right down to business. Okay, so
Mhm.
Huawei's enterprise group has recently launched a solution on how people, whether they're colleagues or classmates, can all get together. And it's called the IdeaHub. So it sounds so interesting, no? Why did Huawei decide to name it as such?
Okay, so before I answer her question, Kath, I just want to introduce what IdeaHub actually is to give the listeners a bit of an overview of its capability.
Yes,
So,
sure. Go ahead.
yeah, so IdeaHub, in its most basic sense, is actually an intelligent collaboration solution. In the office meeting spaces, you have these different devices to conduct a presentation or to have a remote meeting. But with IdeaHub, we are essentially combining and enhancing as well the features from these different devices that you typically see in this meeting room setup. Like, you have the whiteboard, you also have the camera for video conferencing and the microphone. You also have the monitor and the projector. All of these different devices are essentially combined into this single product, which we call as the IdeaHub. So that's IdeaHub in a nutshell. But as for its name, we chose IdeaHub because when users collaborate together to use IdeaHub, our hope is that it will fuel their ideas and imagination. So it is a hub or a center for generating new ideas in another manner of speaking. So that's how we arrived with this name, the IdeaHub.
Sir Ian, you talked about how you want to inspire creativity and working together. No, can you give us po some ideas or maybe some examples for how the Idea Hub can help stimulate yung mga employees, students, and even your mga attendees, their creativity? How can it help to stimulate that?
Okay, sure. I can give you an example scenario. Suppose there's a team brainstorming inside the meeting room. And siguro, let's say that this team is a marketing group or a marketing team, and they want to brainstorm how to deal with their upcoming event or a promotion. So what they will do, this marketing group that is inside this meeting space, they are constantly exchanging their ideas. They are jotting down notes on the whiteboard, or maybe someone else is also doing their research from their laptop. And maybe another person is also drawing a diagram or a graph on the whiteboard at the same time. So what if naman the person who is doing their research from their laptop wants to show their result with their peers? So what will they do? So of course, the traditional way or the typical way is that this person will grab the projector, plug the power cable, find an HDMI cable, and then connect it to their laptop, and maybe even pull down the projection screen if they have it. Tapos ang mangyayari nun, the whiteboard will now be black, so wala na makakapagsulat. So this kind of setup is quite a hassle actually when you think about it. And this example scenario that I said is actually fairly common from my experience in typical corporate scenarios. And it's quite hard to be productive. And as a result, when productivity is being stopped, so this messy setup is actually becoming a hindrance for the employees' creativity. So when the process of collaboration itself is complex and it's becoming more tedious, so some ideas cannot be shared effectively and efficiently with others. So how did we deal with this concern? How did we address this concern? So going back to the example that I mentioned earlier, but this time let's assume that this marketing group is now using IdeaHub inside their meeting office. So what they will do is that they will use the electronic whiteboard of the IdeaHub, and they will use it to write their notes. So they will write their notes. They can create multiple pages. They can even save it locally or on the cloud for safekeeping. So even if the marketing team is constantly, exchanging their ideas, babataan sila ng ideas, no idea or no thought will be left behind because all of their ideas can be put into consideration because the collaboration experience is now much more efficient. Okay, so what if one of them naman, one of the marketing group team has a bad handwriting? So pangat yung sulat niya. So
It me.
So what will happen? All of the notes have been saved now already, no? But the issue is how to interpret it, how to read this
Oh no.
handwriting.
Oh no. We gotta
Relate.
decipher the hieroglyphics,
Relate,
no?
relate.
You need to decipher it. But no need to worry about this one because actually IdeaHub on its own has a handwriting recognition functionality. So it essentially,
Wow.
yes, so it can translate their handwriting to a particular font. So let's say Arial or Times New Roman or kung ano mang machine-based font.
Comic Sans.
Comic Sans kung gusto niyo rin. So in this way, so the handwriting, the notes that they have jotted down earlier can now be read more clearly for future use. So similarly, if you're not much of an artist, IdeaHub can also support graphic recognition. So it can detect what you're trying to draw, such as maybe flowcharts. Typical naman yun sa ibang project developments, you draw your flowcharts and some basic shapes. And using the AI technology of Huawei's IdeaHub, it can detect this graphic recognition and translate it para mas maging visually appealing siguro, no? And what if you want to share your content from your laptop, like yung example earlier, so kumuha pa siya ng projector, nag-pull down pa siya ng projection screen. With IdeaHub, you don't need to do that because you can just project your presentation, your content, whatever that you want to share from your laptop wirelessly through the Wi-Fi, through the application, or even if you want to use your smartphone, you can just tap the NFC reader in the IdeaHub panel. So no need for unnecessary wired connections. Okay, so basically IdeaHub is removing all of these unnecessary hindrances that you see in the meeting room or in the classroom. So the users will now become much more productive, and in doing so, the creative juices will flow more fluidly.
Wow, it really does make everything so convenient, no? And I love that you gave all of these examples, Ian, because na-miss ko tuloy to meet with all my fellow teachers and, everyone I work with also. But, since we're all about, lifting the experiences, how can IdeaHub deliver digital and interactive experiences naman?
I'd like to think IdeaHub as actually it is a product that is digitizing the whole collaboration experience by itself. So it is essentially delivering this quality of life improvements in what seems like mundane tasks inside a meeting room or classroom. But when you actually think about it and when you get your hands on the actual product, you would realize that this kind of experience, this kind of solution is actually a necessary step towards digital transformation. And in terms of interactivity naman, I like to break down the core features of IdeaHub into four major parts. So
Yes,
those
please. Yes,
are
please.
projection. We also have whiteboard, video conferencing, and lastly, IdeaHub prides itself in its openness, in its open architecture to integrate with other systems, with other manufacturers para mas maging seamless yung whole collaboration experience ng mga customers natin. So I've already mentioned that you can project your content wirelessly before, like through the Wi-Fi, through the application, or through the NFC. But to add on that, you can also control the presentation that you shared from your laptop in the IdeaHub screen itself. So you essentially have this giant tablet, no, that you can control. So just tap the screen. You don't need to go back to your laptop to click the next page or to browse the web. So basically, you have this giant tablet that you can just click through touchscreen. And also in terms of video conferencing naman, IdeaHub can also block noises from around the room through its AI technology. So you can have an improved and much more interactive video conferencing experience because of its AI technology. And you can think of this noise cancellation feature like the feature that you can typically see from your headphones, diba? But in this case, it's much more adaptive and it is deployed on a macro scale of the size of the room.
Awesome, awesome. I'm curious, sorry, Ian, because obviously we see how compelling the tech is now that we are all working from homes, and it's harder to really collaborate together when we're not together. But how can the functions of IdeaHub, lahat ng binanggit po ninyo, how can it be utilized even during and even beyond this pandemic? How can we use the IdeaHub technology?
So actually, during this pandemic, very unfortunate that we're still in right now, we actually have deployed IdeaHub to several of our clients already across different industries. So for enterprise-based users, they can still continue to have their meetings despite the limited work arrangement that they currently have. No, and for the schools, the educational institutions, the universities, they can adapt to the digital classroom setup more easily when they have the IdeaHub, even if they were in the pandemic still. So they can integrate IdeaHub, let's say, with the e-learning platform that you mentioned a while ago, uh, or some learning management software, and the instructor can use IdeaHub to maybe record their classroom sessions or conduct it in real time. So it's very flexible. And once the pandemic has finally moved past behind us, educational sectors can actually greatly benefit from IdeaHub even more. Using the electronic whiteboard feature of the IdeaHub, you can basically have zero writing latency or writing delay when you write on it. So it's like you're just writing on a typical whiteboard or typical blackboard that you see on the universities or in schools. So it can totally replace these traditional whiteboards and blackboards that we're accustomed to, and it can provide a much more interactive experience during classes.
Wow. So it's basically everything in real time, no? That's
Yes,
amazing.
that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, since we are in various work setups and some companies have been partially migrating na to the work from home arrangement, do you think naman that IdeaHub can virtually unite them in meetings and huddles?
Of course, I've mentioned we have deployed already IdeaHub in some of our customers, even during the pandemic. And it's actually quite easy for these companies to transition to a work from home setup because they have this IdeaHub to support their virtual meetings. And IdeaHub by itself actually can support all of the visual conferencing software that you mostly use, that companies and users mostly use, like Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, WebEx, you name it. All of this can be natively supported by IdeaHub. Even if some of the employees are still at the office and some are already working from home, they can still work collaboratively together. And in fact, the overall meeting experience is now much more enhanced because the one who's using the IdeaHub from their office have all of these different features that I've mentioned earlier at their disposal. So essentially, the overall collaboration and meeting experience through the Zoom or Teams or whatever is now much more interactive. It's now much more improved.
Sir Ian, our last question here for this episode. No, obviously we're blown away by the tech behind yung idea hub nga po ninyo. But beyond yung business value, this technology, si idea hub, how can it give hope for people towards a better future?
Okay, so that's actually a very good question. No? So I want to answer this question in two things. So that's accessible education and accessible healthcare. So this is essentially what we're driving for a better future using that technology of IdeaHub. So our hope is in the future is that IdeaHub will pave the way for similar technologies like it, so that it can bridge the gap, particularly for the educational sector and the healthcare sectors. So we all know that in areas with poor economic and social conditions, education and healthcare, both of them are not in the best of quality. So a lot of kids are deprived of the opportunity to learn and receive quality education simply because they are poor or simply because they don't have the means to attend classes in some way or another. No, but with this kind of technology, students can receive quality education from institutions even if they are located remotely, even if they are far away from this
Wow.
institution, can give better education. No, but even if the student is far from the actual institution itself, so they can still attend the classes. And in the case of healthcare, so medical experts can work collaboratively and they can even perform remote consultations and even can perform remote procedures, even if the patient is located from far away. But of course, there are still several steps that need to be taken. Of course, we need to first establish a very good network connection in these remote areas. That's the first thing. But little by little, we hope that the kind of future that we want to achieve or we want to foresee can be achieved through this kind of technology.
Sir Ian, it has been a pleasure to listen and to learn and to be even more excited dahil sa ginagawa ng Huawei with the Idea Hub. Thank you so much, sir, for making time with us here.
Yes,
thank
thank
so much
you. Thank
din.
you, Sir Ian. We
Mhm.
definitely learned a lot.
Tsaka nag-add to cart na kami ni Kath.
Yes.
Hati na lang kami sa isa. So sa akin yung
Oo.
weekday, sa kanyang weekends.
Ipapalala move na lang namin sa isa't isa yan.
Okay, sir. Hope to see you soon. Please stay safe to you and to your loved
Yes,
ones
stay
and to
safe as well.
your fellow employees as well as at Huawei. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Ian.
Kath, this is crazy. We are raising the
is.
bar with this IdeaHub. I'm just amazed with the fact that this collaborative solution can be so motivating and uplifting. I mean, imagine, far reaches of areas learning through IdeaHub, or even, for example, consultation when you're feeling feverish. Di mo na kailangan lumabas ng bahay, magpakonsulta ka na lang through IdeaHub, diba?
And that's what we need now more than ever,
Yes,
diba?
for sure. The possibilities are endless. And I can just imagine how I personally would be able to enjoy using this. And, learning about this tech, learning about what the future has in store, para ako na sa concert, tapos na yung singer, pero gusto ko pa, sumisigaw pa ako ng more, gusto ko pa ng encore. I want that now, Kath. I want that now.
Gets kita dyan. Because I'm like that when I'm watching my concerts on YouTube. My K-pop concerts.
Ayaw mo pa i-end yung video.
Ayaw pa, more pa.
Up next na.
True. And wait lang, guess what, Chuck? Your request is granted because there will be a part 2 of this episode. We have more upcoming guests. Can you believe it?
Well, if I'm excited for this, what more our listeners, who I'm sure are going to be looking forward to even more conversations on our podcast.
Yes, I do hope so. And Chuck, I really believe that hope is on its way with the featured technology here on Byte-sized Conversation Podcast.
So if you guys have any questions about the IdeaHub or even what Huawei is doing right now in tech, just send a message at www.onecommerce.com.ph. And as Kath said, you guys are going to be in for a treat because part 2 of the special episode of Byte-sized Conversations is coming shortly. But for now, guys, take care, be safe, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.